Hi everybody, we're up at Two Lads on Winter Hill, the monument which is been put here for two skeletons that were found either the 1970s or the 1980s by an archaeology team. Um, they contacted the forensics and the police to come in and check these skeletons out because they were a bit more recent than what they expected. They turned out to be two skeletons from the 1950s, and when they DNA tested the skeletons, it turned out that they both matched in DNA. So it was proved that they were brothers because they managed to date the ages of the skeletons. So they knew they were roughly the same age. So they reopened the case, and apparently the only two brothers that were missing from the 1950s, which is like 25 years earlier, were two brothers from Manchester who were both chefs, both worked in the city of Manchester. And I can show you Manchester in a little bit on the camera. They used to go into a pub called the Turk's Head at Shude Hill, which was a place notorious for crime, gangs, guns, and still is kind of, well known for that in that region. So the two brothers disappeared, were never seen, and these two skeletons turned up here. This is one of the monuments where one skeleton was found, and just across the way is another monument where the other skeleton was found, which when I take over on camera I'll walk over there and show you that one. So the archaeology students and the professor, when they had the skeletons taken away for examination, decided to build these two monuments in, place of where they were found. Now, our wonderful council at Bolton have pulled these down, and the students came back and built them up. And the council pulled them down, and the students came back and put them back up. And this has gone on for about 20, 30 years now, probably. I met the professor himself. He gave a talk once about this situation with the council pulling this down, and because they don't have planning permission, and then putting it back up again. At the minute, they're still part built, so I don't know where we're at with the pulling down and putting up of these monuments, but they're still here, so we can still come and visit them. So we're going to conduct a paranormal here tonight. So I'm going to, like usual, hand over to Andy, and he's going to run the paranormal equipment, and I'll take you on a little walk around and show you some of the things in this area which relate to this particular case. Alright, I'll take that and stand with the camera, and you can just sort out what you're doing for your paranormal and stuff.
Yeah.
So this is one of the brick monuments that was put up for you can just see television mast in the background there as well. So we're right on the tops of Winter Hill. I'll just walk you over to the other monument, which is it's a bit dark because it's just literally footpaths up here. When we get over to the other monument, I'll be able to show you Manchester city centre in the background, so you can see really how far whoever dumped these bodies up here actually drove out. So for me, it's local history. It's a little bit similar to, we had the Moors murders up here, Myra Hindley and Ian Brady at Saddleworth Moor, which is just towards Rochdale, Manchester way. And that was a similar thing, they drove up there to bury, horrendously bury the bodies of the children that they abducted. So this moor was also a popular spot. That's the other mound. That's the other stone monument which was put up by the archaeology students and the professor for the second skeleton that was found. So these two skeletons were literally found several feet apart. That's the television mast at the background there, just in relation to where we are. The other monument is there where Andy is with the torch. So one skeleton was found and one skeleton was found here. But what happened was the students were learning how to do. Let me turn my torch off. The students were learning how to do dig for skeletons, and what happened was when they uncovered these two skeletons, they were really excited. They were chipping away and going, "Oh look, we found skeletons. This is great." The professor came along and said they're not deep enough. These are only like 8 feet deep, 10 feet deep. They'll be like 30, 40 feet deep if they're going to be primitive skeletons, because the one thing that they did excavate up here was like cavemen, prehistoric ruins, that kind of thing. So when they found those recent skeletons, it was quite a surprise, and obviously they reported it to the police. They got involved and the DNA got tested, And yeah, it turned out they think it was these two brothers from the 1950s that disappeared from Manchester and never got found. So I can show you Manchester in the distance. If you look, you can see perhaps some red lights faint in the distance over there. That's roughly, well, Manchester city centre is directly ahead from there, and it's about 20 miles. So they've gone 20 miles from there to here to bury these skeletons. So we're going to go back now to Andy, and he's set up his different paranormal things that he uses to contact, to contact spirit and stuff. We'll see what he's doing and what we pick up. And, we'll see if we can get any answers. We can see if we can get these two unfortunate guys to come forward, or perhaps anybody else, because it's not the only murder committed up here. Right by the mast, just over there, is another murder spot. The Scotsman, which we're going to do separately. But for now, we're going to stick with this one. So Andy's set up, and I think he's asking out.
It's Margaret, and you're intelligent, then you'll understand what we're doing here. We're not here to disrespect anybody or anything like that.
I did something bad.
You did something bad? Who? What did you do? Who are you? You did something bad? What did you do? It doesn't matter now if you're not with us anymore and you're in the afterlife. You can tell us now, because nothing's going to happen to you now. Can you tell us what you did that you think was bad? It's okay. You can tell us now, because nothing's going to happen to you now. And you want to talk to Alison?
Who is it? Who have we got here?
It's Margaret.
Margaret?
And
Yeah.
it said intelligence.
Okay. Hello, Margaret.
I did something bad.
Who are you, please? Please come forward and tell us some more. We're just trying to piece together this story, what happened to these two skeletons, these two brothers. Did you have some involvement, or did you know what happened to these two guys?
Because...
If so, please come forward.
I like music.
You like music?
Sounds like someone maybe studenty. Or... Were you one of the archaeology students?
Yeah, I did ask that, and he came up intelligent. And I said, are you talking about yourself? Were you a student?
Yeah.
Or are you talking about Alison, because she knows a lot of history of the area, and she knows a lot about this place?
She might be connected to the actual dig, because before this party of students come up, they've been digging here for years, looking for primitive bones and things like that, and arrowheads and flints and things. That's what Rivington Pike is over there, really.
Were you a student?
Rivington Pike was a burial mound, that's why it's a mound like that.
You like music? We like music as well.
We love music. We always...
Hospital.
Did something really bad happen that night and nobody really knows the full story of it?
Yeah.
Did you end up in hospital? Did you get injured?
I'm hiding here.
You're hiding here. Why are you hiding?
Why are you hiding here? You don't need to
Do you
hide.
know the people who killed these two guys? Were you from Manchester? In Manchester, for our USA viewers, is just 20 miles away from this hill with the television mast on the top. If you Google it, it's Winter Hill, Lancashire, Greater Manchester, and we're 20 miles from the city up in the hills. Please give us some more information. Do you know anything about this murder case?
Of because everybody's interested in
Nobody wants to.
I don't think anybody really know. Did they know the names?
No, I don't think. Well, I mean, I suppose if I don't think they ever proved it was the two brothers that were missing. I don't think they could. There wasn't, as far as I know, it was inconclusive because there weren't enough evidence. It's just that the two skeletons matched the two guys that went missing, and the DNA matched, and that made it look like they were brothers. But they couldn't, I think, place anything else to make it that it was them. Don't think there was any like concrete evidence. So although they think it probably was, they can't. I don't think they could say for certain.
Yeah.
So now we're relying on spirit people to come forward that were witness to it to let us know exactly what happened. Then we can clear up this case once and for all. And perhaps even leave a marker on these stones with names on, because these skeletons are probably lying in a DNA lab somewhere.
Who can help me?
Who can help you? We can help you. You need to tell us what the problem is that you want the help with.
Yeah. What do you need help with? How do you need help? You tell us what you need help with, maybe we can help you. But you need to tell us what you can talk to us.
What happened here? Margaret, do you know any information that's not been given to the police? The police didn't actually catch up with this case for 25 years.
No, we could try and help you.
You think about it, right? If she was a student and then 25 years later the police found this and then she was like 45, 50.
Yeah.
She might have had to carry that all of her life, knowing what happened.
Yeah.
Because I was explaining to the viewers that it's like, we're not that far from Saddleworth Moor here, are we? Which was the Myra Hindley and Ian Brady double, murder duo.
This sort of place here, you could... And nobody would know, would they?
No, and that's the reason why Manchester over there, which you probably can't pick it up on this camera, but all the red lighting over there is the city centre and the airport behind. They would drive up into the hills, if they were trying to dispose of people.
Open my mind. Yeah? I think we are.
We're very open-minded. We'll listen, we don't judge. Whatever happened, happened, and it happened for a reason, more than likely. This is the other mound, guys. This one's actually a complete mound. This one's actually been fenced off now because people have been climbing on it and the council have said it's dangerous. And this is special really for our American viewers that's watching us now. So if you look at the northwest English coastline, Blackpool is over there. That's where we've got our light illumination show on until New Year's Eve. And then the coast runs all the way down to Liverpool, which is roughly about there. And then we come across to Manchester, which is inland about there. And these hills where we live, because we live at the foot of these hills, it's Winter Hill, Lancashire, the television mast, which is where we focus our attentions when we're doing UFO stuff. And then about 10 miles behind that is Pendle Hill, which is the area notorious for the witch trials, the witches. So just to give you an idea, you guys, if you want to look up on the map where roughly we are in the northwest of England, and England is a very haunted country because it's so old, it dates back so far, and because we've always had witchcraft in this country for a good 700-800 years.
I'm going to try a bit of...
You doing Esther's box?
Yeah, I'm going to try a bit of that.
Alright. While you're setting up, I'm just going to swap hands. It's cold tonight and my hands freezing to the camera. That's not good. I haven't got any snow yet and my hands are freezing up to the camera already. Not very professional, are we, guys? We try. We are still trying. I'm going to jump in and ask for one of the dead people to come forward. The actual murder victims. I'm whispering so that Andy can't hear. But he's got the headphones on anyway. So this Esther's box, for those that watch Paranormal, you may have seen it in other programmes. Andy's got the headphones on, and he's got the radio on his phone. So all he can hear, or I think he might be running Necrophonic app, which is, it scans through the radio frequencies, and spirits can talk through it. So for anybody who's watched our UFO investigation programs yet, we've been lately using it to contact aliens and had some really interesting results. But now we're doing it to see if we can contact any spirits. So I'm going to ask the questions. Andy can't see or hear me, so he doesn't know what we're asking. And we'll see what responses and if they make any sense. Because if we get responses, then it's going to be spirit that's replying.
Right, I'm going to start now.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Who are you, please? Are you one of the murder victims?
The bodies.
Was your body found? Was it your body?
No police.
No, the police are not here. Are you the person who killed those two brothers, or are you one of the brothers?
Death.
But are you the killer?
I should have run away.
Are you one of the brothers that was murdered? Tell me your name. Come forward and tell me who you are. We just want to make contact with you and find out what happened up here. Why these skeletons were found where they were.
Is it me?
We don't know who the skeletons are. They were never identified. Do you know that you were murdered?
Leave.
No, we're not going to leave until we've done our investigation. No, we're not going to get out or leave until we've done our investigation. We need to get to the bottom of what happened up here. The skeletons were buried for 25 years.
Justice.
We can get you justice if we know who you are and what happened. But we need some information. And the only one to provide it is spirit. What else do you know about this case?
It's a secret.
Well, you can share your secret with us because we're going to keep it quiet. We don't have anything to do with the police. We're paranormal investigators. Step away and then you know that he can't see or hear me. Keep the mast in view in case we get any UFOs lurking in the back room.
Shift the bodies.
The bodies have already gone. The bodies have already been taken.
Fuck them.
The bodies were found by students. They found the bodies. But they didn't catch up with you.
Sorry.
It's too late now. 2 lives were lost. What had you to do with this murder? Talk me through it. What happened that night?
Help.
We can help if you can tell us what happened here. We can't help if we don't know what happened here. What happened here? How many people were involved in bringing these bodies up here? It can't just be the work of one person. If you're a murderer, come forth. Explain yourself.
No arrest.
Well, you probably can't rest. Maybe your conscience won't let you know. What made you commit these murders in the first place? What led up to it?
Oh dear. Blood.
So did you bludgeon these guys? Did you hit them? Did you stab them?
Sit down.
Wait, if I sit, are you going to tell me the story?
Maybe.
Okay. I shall sit here on the ground with you if that makes you feel more comfortable. And you can tell me the story. And I promise you it will go no further.
Just gone off.
Gone off. Have you drained battery?
No. Just turned
You
it
asked me to sit down, so I've sat down.
Just turned it off.
I got the feeling it was like, if you sit down, I'm ready to tell you the story. That's the impression I got from what you were saying. I think we're speaking to the killer, actually. And it's as if, like, he's not very forthcoming, but then it was like, but if you sit down, I'll prepare to tell you my story.
Yeah,
That's as far as we got. That's what. But the radio's in the bag if you want to connect up to that. Might be interesting to see if you get similar on that, won't it? Or whether it's totally different. If it sounds like we're dying, it's because we've had our... Andy's had his inoculations. He's had his inoculations. That's why he sounds so gruff. We had our flu and COVID vaccinations, didn't we, on Thursday last week?
yeah,
So we've seen better days, to be fair.
that's yeah, not just.
All right. Well, we've got the EVP recorder. If you know you want to try something different, and I've set up. Sorry, the camera all digging up, guys. Right. So I've set up dog ball and a couple of EMF meters as well, but nothing's flashed yet.
Did I get anything that matched up on that? Or?
Yeah, a few things. Yeah, definitely.
I must admit, I know it's not warm, but I literally, now I've got these on and that, my legs are warm.
Do you remember when we did one of our UFO investigations and we were just down the foot of the path there, and we thought we picked up the killer coming through? I got a feeling it's the same person, because he was talking in the same manner.
Yeah.
You know when we were down there the other week doing the UFO thing? And then we said 2 lads is just up there, we need to do that where they found the skeletons. It's the same sort of manner that person was speaking to us. And this person, but if you remember on that one, we got, didn't we get a voice in the background when we watched it back on the laptop?
Yeah, we did.
So it'd be interesting to see if we get anything in the background, because guys, you know, a lot of the time we don't hear it until we play it. You guys probably see it before us most of the time. And when we do get round to watching it, we're picking up like sounds.
But I did get that, I mean, weird, because it was just round my legs.
What, like heat or?
Oh, God, I don't like that.
It might be this frost.
No, it's like a tickly cough.
Yeah, but it is frost. Yeah, but don't forget you've had the COVID vaccination, so that might be kicking in, might it?
But, no, I went absolutely icy cold round my legs.
Oh, really?
I think with these on,
Yeah.
I've got thermals on.
Yeah, we've got extra
pants on.
thermals.
I've got these freezer pants on.
You've got everything on.
I mean, but do you want me to try that with the radio?
If you want, it's up to you.
I'll try that with the radio.
Right.
See whether it got anything.
Yeah, so I'll just tell you guys to switch the torch off because we get really bad flipping glare and everything with the... I forget. One day we'll get around to doing some professional lighting for this programme. Right now, we're just dealing with torches and whatever we've got to hand. You know how it is. Yeah, so what happened last night, if anybody's been watching our UFO stuff, we've done, I think, 4 parts to it now. So we come up here, different locations, and we keep an eye on that television mast right behind me there. Because there's been several times now we've seen like strange lights flashing up. And last night what happened, we were at the Pigeon Tower doing, if you look at Investigation Pigeon Tower, which is just about a couple of miles in that direction over there. We were filming the mast towards the end, and me and Andy saw like a Christmas bauble, like red, gold, green, glittering in the sky, sort of turning around. So we filmed it for quite a while. We could see it with our eyes, and I could see it on the camera. When we'd loaded it to laptop and played it back, we can't see it at all. So we're thinking that is it something that can make itself invisible on the camera, so it's not able to be picked up on film. because we're talking about it and pointing at it, and you guys that watching it can't see anything, and we couldn't see anything when we watched it back, but literally it was there. There was something definitely there at that mast over there last night. And it isn't the first time that we've caught stuff up here. Rivington Pike, which is just a couple of miles in that direction over there. We were at the top of there last year, just filming this mast to see if we could get any UFO sightings and stuff. And something flashed up right behind it. Looked like lightning, but like a straight line. And as soon as we put camera on and phone on to film it, both things drained. That the phone drained and then the camera drained right after. So for me, it's like, have the ability to affect you filming them? Can they do things so that you cannot pick them up? So we were in the middle of doing that investigation last night and our batteries drained. So we're going to get back to doing the UFO stuff in another couple of nights' time. But right now, because it's a good night for it, we're up here doing the two lads' skeletons. So Andy, you're going to try again and do with the radio this time? Right.
Yep.
So we're going to continue with the Estes box method, what we were doing before. Andy couldn't see or hear, and we're asking him questions, trying to get the answers to, this murder mystery, which never actually got solved. And if it wasn't for the archaeology students, skeletons probably would never have been found. And they were up here digging for, anything connected to prehistoric man. They have found actually arrow heads and flint heads and bits of pottery up here before that go back to prehistoric times. So they were actually learning how to dig and learning how to find those things. So when they came across these two skeletons, they were mega excited because they thought they got a really good find. But when I think the archaeologists stepped in and looked at the skeletons, they were only 25 years old. So then it became a murder case. And that's what we're trying to find out the information about by any spirit people at all that would like to come forward and help us out with this murder mystery that never got solved, whether you're the actual killer, who I think we've already contacted a couple of times, or whether you're the actual one of the victims, or whether you were an accomplice, you were just driving the car or helping to bring the bodies up. And perhaps you had to live with that guilt for the rest of your life. And being an accomplice to a horrendous crime that you didn't want any part of. Perhaps you were forced into it. And if you are the murderer, please come back, because we were starting to have an interesting conversation. And, as wrong as it is, I am prepared to listen to your story and find out what drove you to do this murder and why. There must have been some lead up to it. Something must have made you so uncontrollably angry that you wanted to kill these two guys. Did they do something to you? If they did something to upset you, offend you, please tell us. It would explain some of what's gone on. Did you meet them in the Turk's Head pub in Manchester? In Shude Hill, Manchester. Notorious for guns, gangs, drugs. Tell us which area of Manchester you came from. And what relation had you to the two brothers that you murdered? And did you get away with your crime? Seems to have gone quiet for the time being. Sometimes though, spirits will circle round to get to know you a little bit first before they come forward. They're a little apprehensive because they don't trust you at first if they don't know you. And then when they trust you, they come in and speak. Particularly if it's like, a killer, then perhaps You know, before it said no police. Perhaps he's wary that we're gonna, like, phone the police and report it, but he's spirit now and nothing can happen. Would you like to tell us which part of Manchester you came from and where all this gangster stuff took place? The records tell us Shude Hill, but you must tell us if it's a different area, because there are some other areas of Manchester where they've cleaned the inner city up now, but back in the day there was some pretty dodgy and dicey areas. They've cleaned the city up now, really made it nice and good for overseas visitors and stuff, because with it being a big city of music, same like Liverpool is a big city of music, you know, for bands and stuff like that coming from here, it attracts a lot of visitors now, obviously, from overseas.
A man with a gun.
So it was a gun crime. What was the crime about?
You are a video.
Yeah, I'm videoing this. It's a documentary. We're just chasing up listeners. Well, there'll be some viewers, but only viewers that are interested in ghosts and paranormal and murder mysteries, unsolved ones and things like that. And if you've got any information to give us on this case, we'll be more than happy to hear it. Which part of Manchester were you from?
Near Manchester.
What area? Name of the area.
Looking back.
Yeah, are you reflecting?
The summer.
Summertime, is that when it happened?
First train.
First train? Early in the morning? Surely didn't bring
to fight with them.
Ah, right, okay. Down at the Tuck's Head? We were the Tuck's Head at Shude Hill. What happened after you got the first train? Where did you meet them?
They were only young.
Oh, really? And why did you kill them? Why were they killed?
In the 90s.
In the 90s? It was in the 90s, probably the very early 90s when they were found. I think even the 80s.
Wrong place.
No, they were found here. Or are you talking about they were in the wrong place?
We never knew.
How did they get tangled up in this murder? If they're innocent?
No choice.
Why did they have no choice?
You don't understand.
Well, I don't understand, but that's why I'm asking you questions, so you can put the story together for us, so we can make sense.
You can't.
I don't understand why anybody would kill anybody, but there must have been, you must have had your reasons. What were your reasons?
Do anything.
What were your reasons for killing two guys? Young guys that you hardly knew? Did they come along the wrong place at the wrong time and witness something?
Stop this.
That's what it is, isn't it? Did they come along and was it a gang deal? So you had to do away with them because they'd witnessed something? Is that the truth?
Break the code.
Well, you had some sort of a code, did you? Like a gang code?
Don't trust.
Yeah, well, you won't because you don't know me, and I get that. It's totally okay. But I just want to talk to you about it. Think of me as like a counsellor.
Anyone.
You don't trust anyone? Maybe that's because of the life that you led. And I'm not being judgmental when I say that. Can happen to anybody.
Hanging.
It would have been a hanging offence probably in those days if you'd have been caught out.
3 deaths.
3 deaths. So there was a third person. Or you mean there was these two and it would have
I
been...
don't care.
Well, you're in spirit now. Did you manage to cross over or are you just roaming around?
It was a group.
How many? How many in your group?
That's a boring question.
It isn't a boring question. How many people? 2, 3, 10, 20, 50? A group can mean anything. What's your name?
I love that.
You don't want to give me your name, do you? It won't matter now.
Just make.
Just you. But who? Somebody must have helped you to bring those bodies up here and dispose of them in the manner that you did. Who were your accomplices? Who were they? What were their names? And who's Margaret? What were the names of
I
the...
robbed them.
You robbed them? You robbed them and then what? You killed them?
There were a few of us.
So you killed them and then you took all
We were
the...
kicking in.
So you... God, it sounds like a gang thing, doesn't it? Sounds like they've set about 2 lads. These 2 lads.
Everybody waited.
Why did you rob them? Who were they to you?
Didn't care.
You didn't care about them? Did you not know them at all? Probably 2 innocent brothers on their way to somewhere. And you jumped them and robbed them at Shoedale, probably the Turk's Head pub, which is notorious. Or was in the day. It might not be now so much, but then it was. It's still there, by the way, guys. It's a Victorian pub with tiles and everything. Did you...
Innocent.
Innocent? What did these 2 guys do to provoke this murder?
Not good.
So what did they do?
Thieved.
So they thieved and then you went after them and then you killed them?
3 people.
You said 3 people before. So you killed a third person? That third person might not have been found. That third person could still well be up here.
I'm not waiting.
Alright, don't wait. I'm not bothered. You've told us enough already. You've killed 3 people and they only found 2. So where's the third person? Am I standing on the grave? Because if there's one there and one over there, there's room to have one in the middle here. Did you bury 3? Would I find another skeleton if we got someone to dig? Definitely. So there's a third skeleton under there.
Everyone.
Were there 3 brothers? be so weird, guys, if we could get someone to excavate that bit of land there and they found the third skeleton.
I found them.
You found them? Who are you who found them? Are you someone who found the skeletons?
We're reminiscing.
Are you the actual murderers that are reminiscing, or are you archaeologists that are reminiscing? Who are you?
Something happened recently.
Recently? What happened recently? Did the professor pass away?
Incredible.
Did he? Because, you know, he was getting on a bit, so he would have been in late 80s by now, this guy. Perhaps he's passed away.
I was going to start crying.
But yeah, maybe the professor's passed away. Because when I saw him doing his talk 15 years ago, he was about 75 then. So yeah, he'd be getting on for 90 now. Perhaps he's died. Perhaps that's why Andy felt like crying. Is it you, Professor?
One step at a time.
One step at a time. Is it you, Professor? I came to one of your lectures. You did a lecture on local history and told us about this place and your findings. And look, your mounds are still here. The council have actually protected them now after all that fighting.
Wonderful, wonderful questions.
Well, we are trying to get to the bottom of what happened up here. You had an operation? So did you pass away? Well, you've passed away if you're talking to us. You did some wonderful work up here, Professor. And these mounds, look, there's one there and the other one is just over there, and they're still, to this day, being put back up. But the council have actually stopped pulling them down now. They've actually put a fence around to protect them. Maybe as a respect to you and your work here with your students. You had a great lecture. You did a great lecture. Lots of people came out for that. Very entertaining.
It wasn't a mound.
A mound? Well, you know what I mean. It was like a burial relic. What would you call it? A grave monument? What was your name for it? They were like merkins, weren't they, where the skeletons were found? Burial mounds. That's what I was thinking of, burial mounds, but perhaps they were more kind of like marker points where the skeletons were actually found. Two lads, that's why they called this area Two Lads, because it was two male skeletons. But even now, you know, they're still standing. How many years were you coming up here, Professor, with your students? If he doesn't answer that question, he may have moved on. Are there any spirit people still with us?
It's gonna happen.
What's going to happen? I know what's going to happen. The battery's going to run out soon. We're going to have to say goodnight.
Estes.
Yeah, Estes. This is the Estes that we're using. Okay, guys. We're going to run out of battery pretty soon, so I'll let Andy continue the Estes a little bit further. And then, you know, we'll watch it back and then we'll see what we've got. Because many times we get stuff in the background that we don't hear it with our ears when we're filming. But when we play it back, we hear it then. So we're gonna... Yeah, you got a lot of really, really interesting... I think we got the professor through at the end, talking about his mounds and his work, and we think he's passed away because you said... I asked if he passed away and you said I had surgery. And I said that your mounds are still standing, and he said you went, not mounds. So I think we've
Alright.
got the actual professor through. So just doing the final piece to camera because we've done 45 minutes now, so we're going to cut off soon. So do you want to come and say, let's get the mast in the background. If we position it, we didn't manage this by accident last week, do you remember?
Yeah.
We stood and we got the mast directly between us. Yeah, that's it. Just go a bit more to the right. More to the right.
You know I can run.
Oh my God, one of us is going to go
What
flying.
are we doing, the cha-cha shuffle, or we didn't?
Right, where's the mast?
I don't know. It's
We did
behind
this
me.
perfect last week.
I don't know.
Where is it?
Right.
Oh, move a bit further. Oh, we're too late now. We'll have to say goodnight. The mast is behind us somewhere, guys.
Nah.
We'll see you next week. We'll see you very soon. Good night.